coverage.
More experience.
More stats.
And that's final.
ET Final Score is brought to you by Ashley Furniture.
Hello everybody and welcome to the ETFinalScore.com High School Preview Show. Hi, I'm Phil Hicks with the Tyler Morning Telegraph and ETFinalScore.com, and I'm joined first by Shane Stark, who covers the East Texas area. Welcome, Shane. First, we're going to talk about the game of the week. It's our ETFinalScore.com game of the week, and it matches Bullard and Kilgore, and it's the Bullard 16-3A opener. Now, Shane, both of these teams are unbeaten. Kilgore, I believe, is ranked 4th in the state, and Bullard is unbeaten as well. What about this matchup?
It's one of the ones that we've been looking at for a couple of weeks. We thought that these two teams could come in undefeated based on the way they've been playing early on. And another intriguing part about it is the fact that it's Bullard's 16-3A opener. That was one of the big storylines going into the year for the area, was how Bullard had, the greatest season in school history last year, and the present they get from that is getting thrown in the District of Doom, so to speak. So it's a good chance for Bullard to show what it can do. I mean, they went far in the playoffs last year, so I mean, obviously they can play with these teams, and I think going against a top 5 team, and if they can pull one out at home, I mean, that says a lot about Bullard.
There should be a lot of excitement in Bullard this weekend. Now, what's going to happen? Both are high-scoring offenses, but then the defenses are giving up nothing, both teams.
Yeah, I mean, going into last week, well, Bullard had off week, but Bullard was giving up 3 points a game, and Kilgore was giving up only 4 a game. Then Kilgore turns around and shuts out its opponent last week. So it's, two teams not giving up many points. The last time Kilgore played a team that was a high-scoring team was Mount Pleasant, and they limited them to like 6 points. So it's good defensive teams and good offensive teams as well, because Bullard is averaging I think about 45, 46 points a game, and Kilgore's in the high 30s. So the old saying is something's got to give, so something really does have to give in this game.
So I guess the winner of this will have a leg up on everybody in the district. Now, there's a lot of buys this week, so that would be a good one to check out if you have the opportunity. And it's at Bullard, 7:30 Friday.
Yeah.
And also this week we have a Saturday night game of the week. It's the KYKX Saturday night game of the week, and it matches ARP and West Rusk at Lobo Stadium in Longview. This should be a good matchup, shouldn't it, Shane?
Yeah, it's two rival teams. No, we've had a lot. On this, every week we're talking about a new rival, game for the week. But West Rusk and ARP are located, nearby each other. West Rusk has surprisingly struggled a little bit this year, and ARP has a couple losses under its belt as well. But I mean, these are two teams that just a couple years ago were playing. I know everybody remembers, playing on was it Thanksgiving game?
Day,
that they did. So obviously these are teams that can play well into the postseason, and it's they know each other and they play each other a lot, so it should be another good one.
All right, Shane, thanks for joining us, and we'll be right back with Travis Yosten, who covers the TAPS area squads. Now we're joined by Travis Yosten, who covers the TAPS area schools, and for ETFinalScore.com and the Tyler Morning Telegraph. Welcome, Travis. How's it going today?
Pretty good. How are you doing?
Good, good. Okay, what did you see in the first week of TAPS district play?
Well, I saw that Brook Hill there, even though they're moving up from Division III, they're going to be a force in Division II. They put it on Gorman, even though Gorman had a lot of turnovers, kind of, stubbed their own toe, so to speak. I also saw Dallas Christian. They looked great against Grace. Dallas Christian is definitely the team to beat right now in TAPS Division II District 2. But also you got to watch out for Parish Episcopal. They really beat Trinity Christian pretty well.
Okay, and let's look at some of the matchups this week.
Well, this week I think the game to watch is Trinity Christian, Cedar Hill against Grace. Both are coming off losses last week, and both are really going to be eager to get a win, get in that win column, and get it back in that district race. Also, Brook Hill, they're going to look to go to 2-0 against another old Division III foe with Dallas Shelton coming to town. And then also you got, Gorman going to Prince of Peace. That's another matchup of two teams that lost their first week and are really eager to get that first district win.
So they really need to get in the win column.
That's right.
All right, and now All Saints, they're playing like an independent schedule.
Mm-hmm.
So they're playing Dallas First Baptist this week, is it correct?
Right.
And that's their homecoming. What do you expect from this?
Well, it's going to be an exciting matchup over there. It's homecoming for All Saints, and it's also head coach Mike Hall's old team. Hall was an offensive coordinator or offensive line coach at First Baptist last year. You know, he knows all those guys over there, and it's going to be an exciting game. It may be one of those games where whoever has the ball last wins.
And that's a 7 o'clock kickoff, right, for at Mewburn Field?
Yeah, it's going to be an exciting game.
Great. Thanks, Travis. And we'll be right back with Harold Wilson, who covers the John Tyler Lions. All right, welcome back to our ETFinalScore.com high school preview show. We're joined by Harold Wilson, who covers John Tyler Lions in District 16-4A. Harold, first talk about the Lions. They've gone through non-district 4-1. Is that correct?
Yes. Well, they were able to bounce back, from that loss to Lancaster, which, looking back at it now, maybe it wasn't such a bad loss. Lancaster's risen up to number 2 in the state. And John Tyler knows they were 1 yard away from winning that game. So last week was sloppy, but it was one of those deals where if you can just get the win, get into non-district, get rested up, and get ready for the district race. So I think all went well for John Tyler, those last 3 games in non-district.
Very good. Let's look at a couple of district teams. First, I believe John Tyler opens with Corsicana. Is that correct?
On the road.
So tell about the Tigers.
Well, last year they won 13 games, and they made it to the state semifinals in Class 4A Division 2. Starting off the year, it looked like they would be able to challenge John Tyler for the district championship, but we see now they've only won 1 game, and that was against Forney. They've really struggled defensively, giving up almost 34 points a game. It looks like Corsicana is on the outside looking in at John Tyler and White House. They don't seem like a favorite, starting off district. They really got to improve that defense if they're going to get even close to last year's level of a state semifinalist.
And that opener is going to be October 12th at Tiger Stadium in Corsicana.
The same place John Tyler's season ended last year in Corsicana, yes.
I bet the Lions will be extra fired up for that one.
Yeah, should be interesting.
Now, looking at White House, I believe is the only undefeated team in the district, and they were coming off a very interesting game when they beat Carthage 29-27. What do you think about the Wildcats?
I think they have a good chance to go into the last district game, a showdown against John Tyler on the road, 9-0. One thing that stands out about White House is defense. We already knew about the offense, especially if they could get the quarterback position solidified. They've done that with Pat Mahomes. Everybody knows what Dylan Cantrell is all about. Texas Tech commit. They're averaging 40 points on offense, but White House has only given up 21 points. So you got to like the Wildcats. Right now, they're a legitimate district title contender right now. And it's shaping up to be a very interesting race between John Tyler and White House. Maybe both those teams can roll through the first 4 weeks, set up a dynamic showdown the last week.
Wouldn't it be cool at Rose Stadium? Big crowd.
It would be. Maybe that can kind of get John Tyler the rival it's been longing for since they lost the district rivalry with Robert E. Lee. It would be a nice place to start if White House can come in at 9-0. JT maybe top 3, top 2, maybe number 1. The way Class 4 has been going, you just don't know who's going to get knocked off right now.
That's true. And the Wildcats, they open district with Lindale October 12th in White House. And the other district opponents, Nacogdoches plays at Pine Tree this week, and I guess they'll open with Jacksonville. Is that correct?
Yes.
So what do you think about Nacogdoches?
Nacogdoches just hadn't been able to turn it around right now. This is a team, that had a coaching change. Coach Reyes came in, a guy that's familiar with East Texas, but so far they hadn't been able to get that confidence that you really need when you're coming off a season, a tough season like they came off of. You want to get that confidence in non-district when you're playing more favorable opponents. Right now, it's going to be tough for the Dragons to get in. With Lindale, they've been beset by injuries. Coming into the season, they look like they could really surprise some people. But right now, being less than full strength has hampered the Eagles right now.
Well, the only game this week on the district slate is Nacogdoches at Pine Tree, 7:30 Friday in Longview. And then Jacksonville's also off and Lindale's off. So I guess we'll talk about the district in more depth next week, Harold. Thanks for joining us.
All right, thank you.
All right, welcome back to our ETFinalScore.com high school preview show. We're joined by Chris Perry, who covers Tyler Lee Red Raiders. Hi, Chris. How are you doing?
Doing just fine.
Cool. Now, the Red Raiders are coming off a disappointing loss to Mesquite Horn, 49-24, I believe. And what do they got to do to bounce back this week against North Mesquite?
Well, this game is really, you don't want to say a game's a must-win, and it's only the second game of the district season, but it's a big one. I mean, it's a big victory just for morale and just for confidence purposes. They need to get back to what they were doing in the early weeks of the season, which is pounding the football with Laquanis Wallace, and now they have LaTerrence Simmons, a senior who had finished with 100 yards rushing last game. They have Marcus White at fullback. They need to get back to pounding the ball control offense, play action passing, and that's what when I talked to Coach Piskey earlier this week, and that is exactly what they plan on doing.
Now, this game's on the road right after 3 straight home games. The game is at Mesquite Memorial Stadium, 7:30 Friday. Now, what about the Stallions? Tell us about them.
They're kind of like Lee in the fact that they're 1-3. They've been in some games, but they've been giving up a lot of yards, on the ground and through the air. The difference between Lee and North Mesquite, though, is that North Mesquite has 7 interceptions right now. They've been able to turn other teams over, but they've had 2 weeks to prepare for this game, and I think that otherwise I would really give the advantage to Lee full board, because I think that, but because North Mesquite has had 2 weeks to prepare for this all crucial game for them too, it's kind of a toss-up. It really is, because they're mirror images of each other. Both teams like to run the football and play action pass. Same thing with North Mesquite.
Okay, you said if not for 2 weeks, Lee would have the advantage. What makes you think the Red Raiders would have the advantage?
I believe that playing the schedule and the teams that they've faced has toughened this team up. Yes, they're 1-4, but they've played Lufkin, John Tyler, Texas High, and of course now Mesquite Horn. They've just played a very, very difficult, tough schedule, and North Mesquite, looking at their schedule, the teams were not as difficult. Of course, that's all relative once you get out on the field. It's who makes the plays, who doesn't turn the football over, and that's who's going to win the ball game. And I really think Robert E. Lee, that is the key for Robert E. Lee, is to have success in the run game, have Raleigh Poster, who's now the quarterback. Jordan Richardson was doing some spread stuff and some things like that. He's asked, well, not asked, but he's moved to receiver where he can help them out in more of a jet sweep, and also he's a guy that once he gets the ball in his hands, he can make things happen. And I think they wanted to use him more outside, to where they can have now Raleigh Poster and Jordan Richardson on the field at the same time. And I think that's why he's just, they've moved him to wide receiver. I think he still could play quarterback if need be. But Raleigh Poster is going to be the quarterback. You've got LaQuintus Wallace, pounding away at the tailback with Terrence Simmons. They got kind of a thunder and lightning thing that they're talking about, where LaTerrence has got a little bit more breakaway speed. I really think, I'm looking right now, if I'm going to say a score, I'm saying 35-28 Lee.
Very good. All right, we'll check back next week and we'll see how Chris's prediction comes out. Thanks for joining us.